amigos, estudiantes a Quarantine TV 116 for our third week of broadcasting here, almost live from Bravura Beat Studios in South Indianapolis. I hope all are doing well today as we are going to discuss our assignments from last week, get some valuable grammar instruction. Doesn't that sound exciting? And discuss this week's activities. Now, let's say hola to my co-host, Corona Cabra. What's up, CC? Oh, I love your hat, CC. Hey, what kind of music do goats listen to, Corona Cabra? No answer? Bach. Hey, CC, how do you keep a goat from charging? Give up? Take away his credit card. Last week on our program, we discussed por qué and por qué. And one of our questions from our assignments demanded the use of this question and answer formula. While many of the responses received were correctly done, a portion of those responses had some errors, and actually the students created sentence fragments. So let's discuss what a sentence fragment is. The Purdue Writing Lab defines a fragment as an incomplete sentence. They're incomplete sentences, basically. Usually fragments are pieces of sentences that have become disconnected from the main clause. One of the easiest ways to correct them is to remove the period, the punctuation at the end, the period, between the fragment and the main clause. Okay, many of us had, like we were answering a question, and we would state something, then put a period, and then start with por qué, as if it's a new sentence. That creates a fragment. Everything after por qué is a fragment. The word because like por qué, in standard English usage, is a subordinating conjunction, which means that it connects two parts of a sentence with one, the subordinate explains the other. So in the first sentence, you have the main clause, or in the first clause, I should say, you have the main part. And then after por qué, you're explaining the why. And that is how you put the two sentences together. So you have a subordinating conjunction por qué, just like the word because. So if you see on our graphic here, we've created a sentence which is complex. It's a complex sentence. It's one sentence with two clauses on each side of por qué. If I say, yo estoy triste porque tengo tarea en la clase de español, that is one complete sentence with a main clause, yo estoy triste, and a subordinate clause, a secondary clause, ¿por qué tengo tarea en la clase de español? No period, no capitalization of por qué. Lo siento, I stuttered. Por qué. The second issue that I noticed last week when we were doing our questions are the simple yes and no questions. We struggled a little bit, some of us, a small portion, but it's still worth noting, on the development of yes and no answers. I am also including a graphic here to explain this point. The graphic, as with all my focus points, will be included on the Google Classroom Gato so that you can look at it and so that you can understand a little better. I think it does an excellent job of explaining and showing you how to set those up. Please remember, again, this is formal writing. Formal writing. Use all appropriate punctuation and capitalization in your complete sentence answers. I still have some people writing just C or writing no. You have got to give me, you have to give me, to use proper English, you have to give me the formal style and a complete sentence. Also, that doggone English spell check is your enemy. So make sure before you submit that you check your answers and it's exactly what you want to have submitted. Last week, this technological genius loaded a Google form assignment on Semana Santa and La Pascua. It was a great assignment. I really thought it did a great job. You read something and you could answer questions. There were multiple choice. It was a good deal. But I neglected to push the correct button that sent me your email address. Oops. So I received over 150 unidentified answer sheets. No connection to you. It just turned it in. It just sent it to me. I have no clue who sent what. Thus, as always happens with my mistakes, and there are lots of them, you receive full credit. All right. Keep in mind that this particular teacher was trained in the 20th century and is now trying to teach in the 21st century. Live long and prosper. This week, we will once again have our half dozen questions to answer. And we'll have our typical Voce stuff, those assignments that I assign you on Voces. And we're also going to add in a Musica Miércoles. So get excited. This is a good one. Be sure to check Voces and the Google Classroom, which is called Gato. Make sure you're checking both of those and getting all those assignments done. When doing Voces, please listen to the pronunciation. Hit the little icon, the little speaker icon, and listen to the pronunciation and practice your pronunciation. And also remember to refer back to the teaching pages. Those are those pages that show you how to complete the grammar and how or what vocabulary you're being taught. This week, first years are dealing with positive and negative vocabulary. This will help you as you answer more questions because there are more positive and negative words than just see and no. Second years are going to be diving into the preterite versus the imperfect. Now, this is just an introduction, and I plan on putting a couple things up to help you, a couple resources. But wow, I wish I could be there to see your faces as you start determining, do I use preterite or do I use imperfect? And finally, third and fourth years are going to be working on frases con verbos. Frases con verbos. These are some fun phrases you can put together, kind of extend your vocabulary a little bit. Now, as always, all of you should try to get 100% on all the assignments. Keep doing them until you get them right. Keep using your notes, going back. Okay, what word do I need? What do I need to put in here? And if you need to, you can reach out and talk to me and I'll see what I can do. But use your resources. As we conclude this week's episode, I would like for you to keep listening and practicing your pronunciation. We do have a Preguntas Personales coming up, and I do want you to work on your pronunciation. Please remember also to do your own work. There were a couple issues last week where I kind of felt like a couple people might have been doing someone else's work or copying somebody else's work. I know you are in touch with each other, and it's okay to help. I've never had any trouble with somebody helping, but to put the exact same thing down, that's not your work. At least change it a little bit. Change the variables. Remember, no translation devices. There are a couple people that used translation devices, and it was so obvious, so incredibly obvious. Don't forget to get those 4 friend-style community lessons completed. Those are those mini lessons you're teaching to probably someone in your family. Have some fun with that. I sent some vocab out last week in particular. There are all kinds of vocabulary out there. If your parent's a police officer, you could do police-related vocab. If one of your parents is in business, do some business-related vocab. If one of your parents is a teacher, there's all kinds of great resources out there on teaching and vocabulary for teaching. I know. Also, I implore you to enjoy the Música Miércoles this week. I know you will. I believe it's an unknown person. I think it's somebody you probably have never heard of. I think her name is Shakira. And the last thing I want to tell you today is that I promise to try to get caught up in the grade book as soon as possible. Some of you guys are still turning in some things. That means I have to go back. Sometimes be patient. I'm trying to be patient with you as you turn some things in, but you have to be patient with me because I have to go back and look at past dashboards and get through that stuff and remember what was said and what I was looking for. So it's not always a one-size-fits-all situation. Sometimes I have to go back and change sizes, so to speak. So once again, 3 weeks in, we're still doing great. Very proud of you guys. You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work. Keep following along. Hopefully you're enjoying the videos. Hopefully you're watching I noticed my viewership was down a little bit last week. Kind of made me concerned, but I got the video out late, so I'll try to get that on time today. And for Corona Cabra and myself, adios.